Now to the University of Florida, where Senator Ben Sasse is met with protest.
Sasse was named as the sole finalist for school president last week. Today, he faced questions from students and faculty about his politics and his resume.
KETV News Watch 7's Abby Peterson is live with tonight's big story.
Senator Sasse says he is smitten with the University of Florida, but some people there don't feel the same way. He fielded some choice questions, and at times, protesters caused distractions. Protesters greet Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse at the University of Florida Monday.
I wish they didn't have the position they had, but I strongly support the right of people to protest and exercise their free speech rights.
During a series of forums Monday, Sasse made it clear he wants the job as university president, and he wants to separate himself from his political career in Nebraska.
I want to assure you that I'm well aware of those differentiated roles, and frankly, some of that is what appeals to me about this opportunity.
Students and faculty didn't hold back when asking questions. Sasse responded to one about LGBTQIA+ rights.
I believe in creating a culture and a community of inclusivity.
The Chinese community at the university voiced concerns about comments made in the Senate regarding Chinese scholars and students. Sasse says he does not believe he's ever said anything that would create fear among Americans of Chinese descent. However, he did respond to China's leadership.
I am an opponent of the Chinese Communist Party and the way they brutalize their people.
University of Florida student Sydney Stelly says Sasse is qualified in some ways, but he wouldn't be her first choice.
I rather someone who has a background in teaching, a professor, to be chosen as a president, not someone in politics, because I prefer not to have a politician be my president at my school.
A faculty member asked about Sasse's Fremont graduation speech in 2020 when Sasse said, quote, "If you're headed to college, do not major in psychology."
I'd recently read a study a couple weeks before about how few psychology graduates got jobs when they first graduated, and I decided to use that as part of my comedic material, and it flopped pretty badly.
A spokesperson for the university says protesters left campus peacefully. Students tell KETV News Watch 7 that security took Sasse off campus after the forums. Back to you.
Abby, thank you. This is not a done deal. The University of Florida Board of Trustees will go over feedback that interviews Sasse on November 1st.
Their decision could come anytime after that. The Florida Board of Governors would need to confirm the nomination. Sasse told the National Review he expects to resign from the Senate in mid-November. It could take effect a month later. Nebraska's governor has 45 days to appoint the state's next senator. Governor Pete Ricketts said in a statement last week that he intends to leave the appointment to the next governor. Ricketts' term is up in January.
Online right now, we have reaction from the state GOP on Sasse's potential resignation, plus more from his visit to the University of Florida. Just download the KETV mobile app to find it.